عليه سلام اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه سلام. You are the greatest man we look up to, and I stay faithful. I learn my lessons all through you, the final prophet. He led the way, so we stay true. I give my all and everything. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam. 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 He was respected, the most trustworthy of us all. We can never match him, but we try our best and give our all. I give my all and everything. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad.
Saif Adam Allahumma, that is the signature tune for Career Compass every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 90.4 FM if you are in Durban, and 105.6 FM if you are in PMB. That is Radio Al Ansar. Anywhere else around the world, you can find us on www.alansar.org.za. My name is Kelly Ramzani, and I welcome you into my company. Thank you for allowing me to keep you company from now up until 10 o'clock. So what's the lineup for today? Well, you know how we keep it real here on the show. The first thing I want to begin with is telling you, if you are studying to become a teacher, you might want to hold that thought. Yeah, things are not looking good. So there are some budget cuts for the education department, and I know it's a heated debate right now because in many parts of South Africa, rural schools for that matter, they are short of teachers. But the government says, hey, hold on, we've got a surplus going on there. So it wouldn't be a good idea to go in there unless you wish to study, you wish to work abroad. Okay. Speaking about abroad, here on this show, we do talk about opportunities that are available abroad for you. Is your career in demand locally or internationally? We also speak about side hustle. We speak about skills that do not require a degree. And I think that needs to be one of our highlights, because right now, it would be a good idea to learn some skills, okay? Learn some carpentry, some plumbing, just get handy, please, get handy. Because if you're really sitting there with your degree, with all due respect, thinking that that is your way out, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but not so much. Yeah, not so much. Good thing is, here on this show, we're not here to cause a panic. We're here to inform you that with any lost opportunity is the rise of another opportunity. Oh, wow. I'm a poet. I did tell you that, huh? Profound. So what happens is when a career falls out, when it becomes outdated, it's an opportunity for you to learn another needed skill for another career that is in demand. So in short, never stop learning. Never, ever stop learning, because you never know. You just never know what skill you have that is needed, that is in demand, and that could get you the life that you want. All right, so coming up on the show, we're talking all things communication. Last week, we spoke to Juliet Jenner. She is a communication expert and a coach and a public speaker. And we spoke about the power of tone and pitch in communication. Alhamdulillah, the feedback was great. And because we didn't complete the interview, Jenna is such a bubbly soul, and she's an expert in this field of communication. And everything she just says is just wow, phenomenal, incredible, profound. And so I've asked her to come on the show again so that we could complete the few questions that we had left incomplete. And alhamdulillah, she agreed to come on. She's like, Kelly, I love this job. I love talking. I love teaching people how they can also unlock the magic within by just knowing what to say, how to say it, and when. Of course, when is very important. So we'll be speaking to Julia Jenner again about the power of communication. We will open up the lines later on for a mathematical quiz, and you could win yourself 300 rands if you answer 3 mathematical equations correctly within 30 seconds. It is what it is. It is what it is. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So do visit the Al Ansar Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page, and you'll be able to find me there looking cute and smiley. Shout out to Asif, who is the tech on duty today. And you listening to me right now, well, you are in safe hands, and your Saturday mornings are about to get better.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7. 365.
Are you or a loved one battling the disease of addiction? Is your family, life, relationships, work suffering due to alcoholism and substance abuse? Zensai Treatment Recovery and Wellness Center are addiction specialists offering specialized psychotherapy and naltrexone therapy to help overcome addiction. Zensai offers hotel-style facilities to allow your loved ones to regain their dignity and overcome alcoholism and drug abuse in the most comfortable setting possible. Fight addiction. Call Zensai Treatment Recovery and Wellness Center, the Addiction Recovery Specialist, on 031 563 0751.
Imagine a place where luxury knows no bounds. This September, Al Ansar presents the Diamond Walk at Saxony Westwood Mall, an affair where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. From September 26th to 29th, journey through a world of refined taste and unmatched elegance. Discover the newest culinary masterpieces. Be captivated by the latest fashion and lose yourself in the allure of the Dawood entertainment stage. We invite you to indulge in life's most exquisite pleasures. And yes, it's all within your reach. Welcome to the Diamond Walk, where your VIP dreams come true.
They convince the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, one martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7. 365.
Radio Al Ansar is where you at with me, Kelly Ramzani, with Career Campus every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, if you are in matric and you're wondering what do you study and how do you choose a career, we did give out a few tips all throughout the previous Saturdays. This Saturday, I would like to ask you to please carry out the research to find out what are the entry requirements. Now, most of us, when we were in high school or in matric, thought about becoming a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it was, and never really carried out how many points are needed, how many scores are needed. We just like, oh, okay, I'll apply and I'll qualify. And then you apply and you get that email from CAO. Is it CAO? Yeah, it is. I forgot how they apply again. We regret to inform you. Nothing hurts like that email. We regret to inform you. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it hurts. So do yourself a favor. Find out what are the entry requirements. Work on those scores. Work on that point. You need to have a target. You need to have a goal. Set a goal in mind that I want these many points at the end of matric. Just aiming for a bachelor's pass is not enough. It's not enough, sweetheart, because there's a minimum for that bachelor pass and there's a maximum. Okay, so you need to aim for, of course, within your reach, but I believe that there's always room for improvement. So I'm not going to be somebody who's going to sit back and tell you, well, I mean, just do the bare minimum. If you are able to push harder, go for it. Of course, do pay attention to your mental health because that's your number one priority. We don't want you stressing out to a point where if you get the results that you didn't aim for, you harm yourself. People do that. Don't be that person, but do find out what are the entry requirements for the career that you want, for the qualification that you want, and do also find out if there are any bridge courses or any programs for extra points or additional points in case you don't meet them. I'm not saying to have a backup plan, but just in case you don't meet the requirements, is there something that you can do to get those points? How long will it take? Where is this institution? How credible is it? Just do that research, okay? And the most important part, you also need to know if you're going to be studying full-time or part-time. Now, this is up to you. Okay, this is up to you based on your circumstances, based on your financial situation. Will you be able to afford to study full-time or will you be able to afford to study part-time? And if you are part-time, what will you be doing meanwhile? It's very important for you to get an introduction to the business world. Do get a part-time job or start something of your own just to understand what the real world is like, because the high school world is not the same. Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm your big sis, okay? Maybe everybody else is going to lie to you, but the truth is, after high school, welcome to the real world. Oh my goodness, you are in for a big surprise. But hey, let's keep it good vibes only. So that's the advice for this week. Coming up next, we're speaking to a communication behavior change coach, Juliet Jana, who's going to be talking to us about the importance of communication, the power of your voice. This is Career Compass with Kelly Ramzani. You are in safe hands.
ولن ترى عينك في الدنيا مثل سماء وتجري من تحتها أنهار عدن ترى وعطرها مسك يريح هواها سلام فلن يأتي حلمك قربا بما قد رأى مع الحبيب أن أراه في أبوابها وأمتي أن أراها في دار السلام فيا إلهي جنة 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 I pray for Jannah, 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 Jannah. I raise my hands in the air. I'll make a prayer. I pray for Jannah, 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 Jannah. Just to see him standing with the Salihin welcoming them. And then he motions to me to come forward and drink from his hands. But I'll be motionless, just staring at this most beautiful man, who saved me from hellfire, pleading to Allah, Ya Ummati. So blessed slave, enter Jannah for eternity. Look what Allah's mercy and blessings have brought. This is what you strive for, what you sent for. I wanna do. When no eyes ever see, no ears never heard, no mind can imagine. No more tears, no more tears, no more trials. Our paradise, just to hold my mother in my arms. Where our kids and so much paradise, gardens beneath where rivers will flow. Paradise, when nothing will hurt anymore, won't hurt anymore.
Once upon a time, during our dream, a merciful mankind was sent for you and me.
And this orphan child grew and came to be the greatest man alive. Praying Jannah with me, paved the way for us, though we can't believe. Taught us all about love, showed us what it means. Ya Muhammad,
First, we played you Jannah by Zayn Bika and Mu'ad, and followed up by Sid and Mu'ad, if I'm correct. All right, lined up next, we are speaking to Juliet Jenner. We did speak to her last week, and what an amazing soul she is. Very talented, and she will, inshallah, continue with the discussion that we were having. Amazing feedback. We thank you for listening, and yes, you can send in your messages on 0609041056. Join the discussion, be part of the talk. We do this for you every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I believe we got Juliet online. All right. Okay. Now, Juliet Jenner is a communication and behavior change coach. She's a speaker, MC, and actress. She is the co-founder of Dynamic Voice Company since 2002, specializing in bespoke coaching solutions to increase personal presence and impact. Now, I have to tell you something. Last week when we were speaking, I did take down some notes, Juliet. And I know we spoke about how one can actually learn to find the inner voice if they free themselves. And I tried something which I'm definitely going to ask you about. But first, I'd like to welcome you for joining us this morning. And how are you doing?
Oh, thank you. So lovely to be back. And I'm well, and good morning to your listeners.
Absolute pleasure. Now, jumping right into it. Last week, you did tell us a bit about your profession and what your day looks like. You did also talk to us about the impact of tone and pitch and what it has on effective communication and how somebody can improve the communication skills. Now, for today, can you tell us how important is voice in creating the first impression, and how can a person ensure that their voice makes a positive impact?
Oh, lovely question. So the first thing we need to know about the first impression is that it lands really quickly. So we say you've got a 0 to 7 second window to make a first impression, but actually, literally nanoseconds, people start deciding things about you. And so it's really important to understand that your non-verbal communication, in the way you look and sound, actually has more of an impact than what you say. Obviously, within reason. I mean, if you were shouting wild words at somebody, that would have an impact. But generally, what we are looking at is we go, I'm seeing this human being for the first time, and I'm going to decide, are they confident? Are they powerful? Are they a leader? Are they warm? Are they friendly? Are they approachable? Am I going to like them? We're making decisions about them from the very first second we see them. And there's some interesting Harvard research that tells us that impression is so powerful, it takes up to 17 face-to-face encounters to change it.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very strong. And I think the good news there is that you can change it, but then you've got to know what you did and, be mindful about how to change it. And so first impressions are super important. And the thing that people don't realize is that they are happening. People think, the moment I start speaking and engaging and telling my story or presenting, that's when people are going to start to decide things about me, but they already have. And the decisions are you worth listening to? Are you credible? Am I going to trust you or not? That's happening instantly.
Wow. Now I understand why a lot of people fear going out in public to speak because of that judgment, But apart from it being in public space, anyway that you encounter with another human being or any person that you're going to communicate with, I do communicate with my plants. I hope they don't judge me. Do we also have to maybe put on some act or, I don't know, a way that we will be interpreted as positive or be seen as positive? Can you fake it?
So that's a beautiful question, because I think step one is self-awareness. When we coach people, particularly in the business or corporate environment, they're often just really not aware of how they come across, of how they read. And when you point out the reality, and we often do it by videoing people and showing them what they do, when you understand, there is a human power code that can help me express power and credibility and connectability really quickly into the room, this is not a difficult thing to master, but has to be conscious. So step one is consciousness, is understanding that if you walk into the room with your hands in your pockets, your eyes downcast, you don't connect, you don't stand straight, you don't look people in the eye, you don't bring warmth and attention to people, maybe you sort of slouch in on your phone, people will notice and make decisions about you. If you're sitting around a meeting table with a new client or somebody in your organization that you want to have a good rapport with, and you're not paying attention, or you're slouched in your chair, or your arms are folded, or you're distracted, you are going to read. People are going to notice, and they're going to decide things about you, just like the way you decide things about other people. And I think it's not about becoming now super self-conscious and anxious, but rather focusing on calming down and neutralizing. You don't have to tell a huge story either which way. Just have an aligned posture, so sit up straight, stand up straight, try and neutralize, and try and bring your attention and your awareness into the present moment and into the moment between you and the other people. So you can practice it at the checkout counter in the grocery store, where you stand neutrally, you make eye contact, you smile, you greet somebody. It's not about putting on an act and pretending you are a huge extrovert, or rather it's about calming down, arriving, being present, and paying attention.
Now, Juliet, I have to ask you this. In different cultures, people express themselves differently. You spoke about upright posture and smiling and being approachable and welcoming. For some people, mostly like in the African culture where I'm from, it's very Okay, now I have to be careful with what I say right now. Now let me provide context. With many East Africans or West Africans, particular, they don't believe in maintaining eye contact when you're speaking to someone because that's a sign of disrespect. Okay, so you have to like bow your head slightly and avoid eye contact to show respect, especially if it's an elder person. Now, how does culture play play a role in communication and the way that we communicate, and how can a person adapt their communication style and be more effective in different cultures?
Oh, this is such a great question. And I, interestingly enough, have spent 20 years researching this. And I've done this research because I've coached across the African continent, Middle East, Europe. I've coached in China, all over. And what is really important is that the human power code, in other words, how human beings decide you're confident and powerful, and friendly and approachable, is pretty universal. But here's the interesting thing: who gets to use it, who gets to express power, and in what context, is very culturally specific. So you're spot on. It's really important to pay attention to this. So number one, what I was referring to now about landing a strong impression was, if you need to go into a context where you want people to think you're confident, you're credible, and you're a leader, not necessarily a leader of people, but you're an expert, you're a leader of ideas, you're somebody valuable that I want to connect with. And you want to go into that context being open to connection and relationship because you want to maybe connect with a client or a team or a senior person, then what we're asking is quite assertive. It's a strong power proposition. It's behaving like a leader. Now, there are many cultural contexts where it would be inappropriate to go in and behave like a leader. So your job is to pay attention and read the room.
Yeah.
So you might have to research the cultural context you're going into to understand the norms of who is allowed to show up and behave like a leader and who isn't. And when are you allowed to give those power cues and when are you not? And so let's take, for example, because I think it's also a very pertinent South African example, is the eye contact.
Yeah.
There are many South African cultures where you do not go in and make strong eye contact with powerful people, senior people, your elders, your grandparents, that you actually need to go in and show a sign of respect, which is to drop your eyes and give low power cues to respect the power in the room. So that's not going to apply in the average South African business corporate environment where we're expecting people to go in and express power and confidence. That if you are moving from the boardroom to your grandparents' house, best you read the room and adjust, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's always about how to be appropriate in the context you find yourself in.
So context does matter. The setting does really matter.
It matters everything. So one of the most powerful pieces I could ever share around being a strong communicator is not how to be the loudest and most extroverted person in the room. The most powerful communicator is usually the person who reads the room best and connects best.
That is true, absolutely. Now, you spoke about being loud in the room. I, for one, know myself to be quite loud. Now, not screaming loud, but very vocal, bubbly loud. And I find that it's only when I'm happy or when I'm in my neutral setting. Because when I'm sad, I'm quite silent. I just discovered that I'm silent. Wow, passive anger.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, how does emotion affect one's voice, and how can one control those emotions to create an important impact?
Again, yeah, such a relevant question because, and it's a question asked a lot. Like, I give so much away in my voice. And actually, that's a beautiful strength. We want an expressive voice. Because, imagine you have this super dull, deadpan voice that never moves or changes, and I'm super happy right now, and no, I'm angry, no, I'm sad. It's very difficult to move, inspire, motivate, connect with people if you are unable to signal emotion. So that's beautiful. But here's the challenge, is that when we move into high stakes environments where we want to make a great impression or we want to signal our confidence and our credibility, we often get a bit nervous. And when we get nervous, our voice changes. So typically what happens is people start to feel breathless, their heart will pound, they might even feel like they get sweaty palms, they might feel shaky, and their breath goes. And when their breath goes, their voice either becomes very soft or breathy or perhaps even shaky. All of that is just nervous energy that if you know how to self-regulate, you know how to manage your response to your nerves, you can channel that energy into performance and connection and instead of nerves. That takes some practice. We teach loads of tools and skills so that people can master it. And, you know, again, it's like the sporting equivalent is the big match temperament, right? Athletes have to learn how to go into high performance environments and stay calm and focused and manage their nerves. So that's a very, very important and very powerful human mastery skill that I would recommend people develop. You know, how do I manage my nerves? How do I manage my anxiety? But of course, that's only one part of it, because you might be sitting in a meeting and you get triggered by something and you feel really angry or upset, or you vehemently disagree, and then it has an impact on your voice. Again, self-awareness is key, that we do not just react out of our emotions, but we give ourselves time to notice how we're feeling, take a deep breath, choose how we want to respond. And then, of course, we've got to challenge the idea that motion is not a good thing. You know, sometimes we want people to get the emotions. It's relevant. But what we don't want to look like is we're not in control.
That is profound, I must say, because sometimes things happen just so fast and you feel like I need to say it now. But it's important to pull back and just, process everything you're about to say. If you just joined us right now, we're speaking to Julia Jenner, who is a communication and behavior change coach, speaker, MC, and actress. We are speaking about the power of communication, the importance of your tone, your pitch, and all the in-betweens. And here's a message that says, lovely show as always. Now, I got a message from my side and it says, okay, Juliet, can I ask you this question? Because this person has been texting 13 times. Wow, that is scary. Wow. But this person says, what if you're struggling to get your message across? Okay, I don't know how that, I don't know how you're going to answer that. What if you're struggling to get your message across?
So there are a bunch of ways to answer that. Firstly, I'd want to know, are you struggling to articulate your thoughts clearly? Are you struggling to connect? Are you struggling to, verbalize? Where is the struggle? But I'm going to take a stab at it and take a guess that the person is saying, how do I put my message across clearly and articulately that I am understood? So the first thing is that any message, to become understandable, needs to ask and answer, what is my audience concerned with? How do I serve them? What do they need from me to better understand my position, to better move forward with my information? Why am I sharing this message in the first place? So get super clear about the purpose of your message and what you're trying to achieve with it. Then you need to ask, how much detail should I go into? Because invariably people want to go into just too much detail. We've all just got so much information, and less is more. I cannot stress that enough. It's not about sharing all the information you have, but asking what detail, what information, what texture, what granular piece of information do I need to share that will make my point clearer? So think of your detail as the evidence, the proof that helps clarify your big idea. And that'll help you eliminate all that detail that you want to deluge at your poor listener that invariably will confuse them. Lastly, don't be afraid of asking questions and saying, what do you most need from me to understand this? Or where exactly are you getting lost or confused? We often assume too much around communication and messaging, and it's really useful to slow down, clarify before you move on to land your message. So there are a couple of small tips around thinking about your information. Number one, what is your purpose? Why are you speaking? What are you trying to do? Number two, what does your audience most need from you? Where are they? And number three, how much detail do you actually need to go into to illustrate your point? Less is more.
Absolutely beautiful response there. I was just tracing back to the messages, trying to read what the person meant, and it speaks about anger. Like when this person is angry, they fail to get their point across because they start to shake and lose their breath, like you mentioned earlier, and get sweaty palms and somehow lose what they want to say. But the response that you gave is perfect, and I hope that we will all practice. Speaking about practice, Jill, what are some of the common mistakes that people make to damage their voice, and are there any practical tips that you can give us to protect and maintain our vocal health?
Yes, absolutely. Just to give a little piece around the anger, I think it's useful for us all to know that once anger has really kicked in, something interesting happens in your brain. You actually leave your prefrontal cortex where your common sense, your generosity, your creativity, your problem solving lives. And you go into a very different part of your brain that's not very good at solving problems. And they say that it's actually very difficult to communicate and solve problems from a place of strong anger. And usually it's a good idea to, leave the room, go to the bathroom, calm down, splash water on your face, calm yourself down through some deep breathing, release the anger through your breath. And then when you feel more in command of your thinking, to return to the conversation. So that's if the anger is very strong. And that sounds like what's happening is this person is expecting themselves to function coherently and rationally when actually their brain has been hijacked by emotion.
So the first step would be to calm down first.
Yeah, is that actually you've got to calm down. And until you've calmed down, you can't really proceed. And then you've got to learn techniques on how to calm down. And there's loads of those that you can learn. So that's what I would recommend. And then another thing is to not feel that anger is a problem, by the way. Just,
it's a human emotion.
Letting you know that someone really crossed a boundary. Something is really unacceptable and it's useful and necessary. But you want to take the energy from that anger and place it calmly into coherent communication and not respond from anger, because invariably you just make the situation worse.
Yeah, correct.
But to answer you about
the common mistakes, yes, and practical ways that we can maintain.
The two things that people get wrong. Sorry, there's a bit of an echo on my line, so if I'm not picking up on you, I apologize.
Yeah, we do apologize about that, but we can hear you perfectly well on our side.
Okay, good. So the two most common ways we damage our voice are tension, number one, and a lack of breath, number two. The voice needs two conditions to be strong and healthy and vibrant. And the first one is relaxation. So your shoulders, your neck tension, your throat tension are all going to have a negative impact on your voice because your vocal cords can't vibrate freely. They will grate. Tension gets in the way. So if you are suffering from a voice or losing your voice or getting a fatigued voice, chances are you need to do exercises and learn how to manage your physical tension. Number two is breath. Your voice is fueled by breath. So if you are not supporting your voice production with strong, controlled breathing, you are going to hurt your voice. So learn how to breathe correctly. We want breathing that goes into our central diaphragmatic intercostal area. It needs to be controlled and support our vocal production. And again, if you're really struggling, I highly recommend that you consult a voice coach, because you can really transform that situation. It's difficult to just, give you a few tips over the radio because it can be very personal and very specific. But you want to pay attention to how tense are you and how well are you breathing.
Well, you spoke about tension, and I just want to text management. I hope they're listening right now that we will need a massage, a full body massage before we come on air. Now,
Yes,
Julia,
wouldn't that be lovely?
last week, you did give out advice, and would like to ask if there's anything else you'd like to add on to that advice, and maybe give us new advice or the same advice this week. Is there any advice that you'd like to give to our listeners?
I think I always love to promote the idea that you have this magnificent human body. It is such a gift. And let's face it, doing planet Earth without a human body is not so easy. So often we get stuck in fighting with our bodies. We reject them because they don't look a certain way, because they don't, perfectly perform in a particular way. We have all these ideas of what our body should. And I love the idea that we were given the absolute perfect body for us to do the work we need to do on this earth. And so I invite people to really meet your body with respect. Meet your voice with respect. Stop being so hypercritical. It's a learned behavior. We don't start out with it. And it's really worth releasing, because the more you embrace your body, your voice with acceptance and respect, it was given to you for this very short time to be here. Look after it, honor it, and recognize its incredible communicative power. It's magical. So the more you love and respect and honor your voice and body, the better they will serve you. They are your vehicle. Get to know them, enjoy them, appreciate them. Don't wait until something goes wrong before you do that, because that's often where we start to go, wow, I wish I'd appreciated my body. I wish I'd appreciated my voice. And I think that's one of the most powerful ways to claiming your power and your connection with other people, is through honoring and caring for yourself.
Wow, beautiful. Juliet, it has been an absolute pleasure having you join us here on the show, Career Compass. We wish you all the very best with the phenomenal work that you're doing. And thank you for taking your time to share your wise words and experience with us. We wish you a lovely day.
Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure connecting with all of you. And I just send everybody who's listening a lot of joy going forward as they go on their journey into really actualizing their personal power. It's available for all of us. Thank you for your time and listening, and connect again in the future.
Thank you so much. That is Julia Jana, communication and behavior change coach, speaker, MC, and actress. She is the co-founder of Dynamic Voice Company since 2002, speaking to us about how you can embrace your voice and accept it and just find your true self in that. Wow, beautiful. Guess what? I'm going to irritate you guys from now on until God knows when, because I'm not keeping quiet. It's Career Compass with Kelly Ramzani every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. You are in safe hands.
أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم من كل شيطان رجيم. أنت العفو فاعف عني، أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم إني أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم من كل شيطان رجيم أنت العفو فاعف عني أنت الغفور الرحيم صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إني أسألك ربي باسمك العظيم تكفيني شر الحاسدين مولاي فرج عني همي أنت مجيب السائلين اللهم إني أسألك ربي باسمك العظيم تكفيني شر الحاسدين مولاي فرج عني همي أنت مجيب السائلين صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله وسلم وبارك وأنعم على نبينا الكريم الأكرم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله اللهم إني أسألك بكل اسم سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك وعلمته أحدا
That is Masood Kurtus Dua, and what a beautiful nasheed it is. 5 minutes to 10 o'clock. You are listening to Career Compass. Now we're about to open up the lines, and I'm going to need you to hear me. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to need you to hear me so that you can follow these instructions carefully. All right? All you're going to do is call our lines, right? And then you will be put through. You're given 30 seconds. 3 simple mathematical equations. You get all 3 correct. Ta-da! 300 rands is yours. You get 1 wrong. Unfortunately, you don't win anything. How's that? Sounds good to me. Let's go. Let's dial the number. And the number to dial is 0861 904 904. That is 0861 904 904. Give us a call right now because we've got a few minutes left. And you could be lucky this Saturday because what we are doing is spreading love, spreading positivity, and that is what we always do here. Speaking about love and positivity, do make your way to the Diamond Walk. Okay, Diamond Walk. It is at Saxony Center, Westwood Mall, and today is our 3rd day. Okay, so I will be there. I'm looking forward to seeing you there as well. You know how we love our social events where we meet. It's the only time where you get to meet the presenters of Al Ansar. Isn't that exciting? But also, it is a day for you to spend with family because we've got all, and I mean all, cuisines. Your favorite foods are available, entertainment, as well as lots of other fun activities. I believe we've already got a caller on the line, and this caller says, Kelly, I know my thing. Put me through and let me show you. All right, let's go. Assalamu alaikum. Who are we speaking to? Okay, the tech is showing me something. Oh, transferring. Okay. We're diverting the call. Do not worry. I won't make you feel nervous. I'm such a nice person. I discovered that I'm nice because people don't want to tell me I'm nice. So I'll be telling myself that I'm nice. Okay. It works. It works all the time. But anyways, 30 seconds is what you will be given. We'll set a timer here. Okay, we got a call already. And who? Munira. All right. Munira, assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah.
How old are you, love?
I'm 12 years old.
Okay, you do sound young, and I don't really want to end up being told, Kelly, you're so mean to a 12-year-old. Couldn't you give her easier questions? But are you good at maths?
I'm kind of good.
Okay.
I'll say.
Okay, that's perfect. And kind of good is fine. So I'll give you the easier equation. So the first question will be additions. The second will be multiplication. And the third will be simple algebra. It's very simple, okay? Don't even stress your head. All right, I'm going to set a timer within 30 seconds. You have to be able to answer all three, and your time starts now. 139 plus 19.
139 plus 19. 158.
All right. 16 times 8.
16. 128.
All right. If you were to solve for x, what is 14 times 3?
14 times 3. 42.
Unfortunately, your time is up before you could answer. Okay, I get it now. My timer just went off. Man, you were going great, except that 30 seconds wasn't enough for you. Maybe you deserved a whole minute. But thank you so much for playing. Do try again next week, okay? Or the following week, all right? Keep working those
Okay, thank you
brains.
so much.
No problem, my love. You take care of yourself, okay? And that
You
was
too.
Munira giving it a try, but unfortunately could not make it on time. 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. 3 easy peasy questions. Easy peasy, as if I know what is 16 times 12. I don't know what's that. My multiplication ends at, okay, I know 5, I know 6, I know 7. I don't know much about 8. I don't know 9. No, I know 9. 10, I know. 11, I know. 12, 13, 14, that's where I sign out. That's where I log out. I'm like, thank you so much. You guys keep doing what you'll do best. And speaking about logging out, this is my cue to love and leave you. Jazakallah khair so much for all those listening. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for those watching on WhatsApp, those driving, wherever you're driving, listening to us, those at home, wherever you are. I just want to thank you and send my love through the airwaves. Saxony Center is where I am heading. I hope to see you there. This is Career Campus every Saturday. We shall do it again next week, Saturday. It's Kelly Ramzani leaving you in good company, saying to you, find your purpose and leave your mark. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام اللهم صل على المصطفى حبيبنا محمد عليه السلام You are the greatest man we look up to. And I stay faithful. I learn my lessons all through you. The final prophet, he led the way, so we stay true. I give my all and everything. Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam Allahumma salli ala al-Mustafa Habibna Muhammad alayhi salam Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM. Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al-Ansar News.
Breaking news that 10 KwaZulu-Natal soccer coach pleaded guilty to raping a 9-year-old boy and has been jailed to 25 years. Good morning, I'm Tabila Duma. A KwaZulu-Natal soccer coach pleaded guilty to raping a 9-year-old boy and has been jailed for 25 years. The South African Police Services said that David Mkhanyisi Mjulwana was sentenced this week in the Verulam Regional Court. Police said that the 59-year-old soccer coach and pastor pleaded guilty to raping the 9-year-old boy in September last year. Police said that the 59-year-old soccer coach and pastor pleaded guilty to raping the 9-year-old boy in September last year. KZN Police spokesperson Colonel Robert Nejunda said on the evening of the 16th of September, the 9-year-old boy and his friend slept over at the coach's home in the Mhlasini area. Police said that Njulana was declared unfit to possess a firearm. In a similar incident, a part-time Durban soccer coach and a Bible studies teacher was arrested in connection with the rape of 4 minor boys in August this year. Education lobby group Equal Education slammed the Minister of Basic Education Sivia Khwarube's no-show at a mock swearing-in ceremony for her which was hosted by Equal Education outside the offices of the Department of Basic Education in Pretoria. Equal Education General Secretary Nqedo Madube said it was disrespectful for Khwarube to just not show up. They said that they would have officially presented Khwarube yesterday with a performance contract drafted by pupils reflecting Equal Education's national and provincial campaign demands based on the schooling challenges that pupils face. The spokesperson for the Department of Basic Education, Elijah Mhlanga, told the news agency that Khwarube was currently engaged in activities that are assisting her to get grips with the sector. Meanwhile, Madube told the crowd that Equal Education had alerted Khwarube staff during a media briefing on Wednesday that Equal Education will be holding the swearing-in ceremony outside the department's offices yesterday. Meanwhile, impeached Judge John Hlophe has been temporarily barred from Judicial Service Commission activities. The High Court says the ban will be in place while Parliament reviews his application to the body. The DA brought the application saying that he could not serve on the JSC after it found him guilty of gross misconduct. But Hlophe's MK party maintains that he is the best person to interview prospective judges. A domestic worker is in the midst of a desperate search for his 6-year-old daughter, who was allegedly kidnapped by her employer. Eva Dembo was allegedly kidnapped in Kensington in Johannesburg on the 12th of July, despite a court order which demanded that her mother's employer, Carlos Rebelo, aged 72, return the child to her parents. Lorangana, Eva's mother, had devoted the past 10 years to working and living with Rebelo. Nkana recalls the early days living on Rebelo's property whenever turned to Rebelo allegedly insisted